I'll call our meeting to order. I'd like to remind everyone to please sign in if you haven't. Make sure you signed in at the table there in front of, at the doors there. We have a quorum here today. We've got a quorum. And so we'll please stand for the invocation and pledge allegiance. Chris, would you like to do an invocation?
Sure. Father, thank you for this day. Just thank you for the things you're doing in the city. Just pray that you just give the council wisdom as they consider things, and that I'll be glorifying your name. In Jesus' name.
Amen. Pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Please be seated. All right, our first item on our consent agenda is discussion and possible action on approval of the minutes of the May 16th, 2022 City Council meeting and the May 23rd, 2022 Council workshop.
Mayor, I make a motion, we approve the minutes from May 16th, 22 council meeting and also May 23rd, 22 council workshop.
We have a motion, we have a second. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for vote. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Motion carries. Time now for our public comments. At this time, comments will be taken from the audience on any subject matter, whether or not that item is on the agenda. All comments are limited to a maximum of 3 minutes for each speaker. If more than one person wishes to address the same subject, a spokesperson must be selected who will be recognized to represent the group. Your comments are appreciated. Texas Open Meetings Act does not allow the council to discuss items not listed on the agenda. However, if possible, your questions may be answered with statement of policy, statement of fact, or it may be placed on a future agenda for attention by council. You also may be directed to the appropriate department head to address your questions or problems. Is there anyone that would like to address the council? Yes, ma'am. Come to the podium right here.
Hello, my name is Berenice Morciglio. That's BRENICE and MORCIGLIO. I am the founder and executive director of A Voice for Hope. I deal with victims of domestic violence locally here in Orange County, Texas. And I am trying to put together a fundraiser event / summer day for the kids and the community out on one of y'all's local parks. And I'm asking for permission. The funding will go towards the operations of the organization. We are trying to open a transitional facility / shelter for victims of domestic violence. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, go ahead.
My name is Paula Mott. I live at 422 Newton. And I would like to discuss the chicken ordinance. I've had my chickens for 4 years. I've never had any complaints or anything. And the reason I'm here is because I would like to say the benefits of having them, especially in today's economy where all of us are struggling with, I went to the store recently and the shelves were barren, and gas being like it is, it's kind of hard to get around and look for things you need. So just having chickens helps provide food for our families. And also you can use your chickens for fertilizer, for also using a garden to sustain your family. And, I'm sorry, if you have pests in your backyard, they help keep that down. And you can also earn extra money by selling eggs. Or alternatively, if you have neighbors who are in a worse off shape than you can give them meat or give them eggs to help them out. And finally, if you are a parent, you can use your chickens to show your children responsibility and help them learn how to sustain themselves, if necessary. Thank you.
Right. I think you had your hand. Go ahead, go ahead. Thank you.
My name is Ava Hernandez. I'm speaking on behalf of my mother, Martha Nelson. She lives at 1913 Western Avenue. I am wanting to inquire about what's on the agenda for today as far as the alley that is between Chester and Dayton. This issue, I believe, has been placed on the docket or on the agenda today because of an incident that happened out of an encroachment that happened on her property. As a result of that encroachment, there was someone that was injured by a bee sting. My mother does have bees. And so as a result of that, I believe that that is the reason why this alley issue has been put on the agenda. What we would like to know is if the city decides to abandon the alleyway, because we have asked for specifics on the alley, we have not been able to get that information because no one has disclosed that information to us. My mother doesn't want any part of the alley. She doesn't want the additional taxes that would be incurred. She doesn't want the additional upkeep of that. So what will happen is basically our questions. If the city just abandons that, are you going to force the homeowner that lives in front or behind to be able to take on that, inquire about that additional expense and maintenance? That's my questions.
Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Brian Muldrow. I am a local, non-migratory beekeeper. I have 27 yards in Orange County. 3 of those are in West Orange. I am very concerned that we seem to have a movement away from personal agriculture and away from personal ability to take care of things that you like to do. The incident that we had at Martha Nelson's place is not rare. It does happen. There are things that we've done to try to solve that issue, to try to resolve problems that exist in that. As a local beekeeper, I've trained and taught probably 600 or 700 people in 3 counties how to keep bees. And as we continue to do this process, we continue to develop personal agriculture. It allows each of us to take care of ourselves. And that's going to become more and more prevalent as we continue to see things that are going on in our current situation. I would like for all of the council members to very seriously consider the responsibility that you guys hold at requiring people to not have chickens or not have bees in their yards. And as a result of that, force them into a dependency upon a system that may or not be self-sustaining.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else would like to make a comment? All right, we'll move on to our reports and comments, section D. City staff. I ask city staff to give some reports.
Well, I'll start. The construction projects that we currently have going, the drainage improvement project, which is part of the C390 grant, they are complete and paid as of last month. Street improvement project under the same grant is 63% complete with an estimated completion date of September the 1st. That's dependent on the cement slurry that they're able to get through imports. Western Avenue, we have an engineer that will discuss that later. It will be going out for bid soon. generator project for here at City Hall, estimated to start late in July. MacArthur Drive, TxDOT is still waiting on materials and energy. I think I explained to you, Mayor, that the mast arms for the pedestrian crossing is still on back order. The LED sign, estimated to begin construction in July or August, depending on availability of material. HVAC is wrapping up this week. We should start our punch list items next week. The wastewater treatment plant, the engineering and plans is 100% complete, waiting on advertisement for that. I have not heard from the engineer, Arsenal, Wilson and Cole, when that advertisement will take place. The WCID generator project is moving slow. They're having problems getting their gas lines ran at all the sites. So we're working with them, trying to get 911 addresses for CenterPoint Energy. And then we're working on quotes for the pavement behind the fire department for the apron of the trucks. So hopefully we'll have something going on that next month. As far as our building official, we had 10 permits issued this month. 22 permits were closed as compared to 11 and 9 for the same period last year. Sanitation, typical operations, we did 17 loads of green waste, 25 yards of C&D material. Waste management is increasing their rates at the landfill to $10.75 per cubic yard. Still looking for a driver to fill that empty position. Animal control, we took 7 intakes, 3 claimed to adopted, 7 rescued, and 0 euthanized. Shelter is full at this time with 7 citations issued for the month. Street department, we had 12 tons of coal mix put down, 5 tons of limestone base. They spent most of the month working on managing Cathy Park and the gazebo here at Alfred City. Mowing with the Parks Department, they took care of 18 acres this month per week. Operating the grapple truck at the same time, that's 1 employee doing those 2 jobs at this time. And for the shop, we did the 30 for 30 on all emergency rescue vehicles with no issues identified.
Thanks, John. Police department, we've had 129 contacts, traffic contacts for May of 2022, 4 crashes, 21 arrests, 62 report calls, 571 calls for service. We've actually driven 12,076 miles for last month. 163 code enforcement violations, with 24 of those being filed. Thank you, Mike. You have anything?
My department's boring compared to all of their stuff. I've been working on the procurement process for 2 grants, and those have already gone out, and actually I think both are on the agenda today. As far as our court, 54 people came through the court and were seen by one of our judges during the month of May. So far, we've seen 37 here in June. I've been working today on delinquent letters for garbage cans. Those will go out tomorrow. I have 91 that will go out, and I have filed 7 complaints in court for ordinance violations pertaining to sanitation.
Anybody got any questions?
All right, ready, me? All right, I done mine, so I went over it.
That's right.
All right. Since January of this year, we have, fire department responded to 11 building structure fires, 1 cooking fire, 3 grass, brush fires, 15 trash fires, 1 vehicle fire, and 2 considered other, with a total of 33 on that. We responded on hazard conditions, we responded to 7 electrical issues, 1 power line down, 6 gas leaks, 1 natural gas leaks, or propane or whatever, 1 flammable fuel spill, for a total of 13 of that. For medical first response rescue, we had
3 motor vehicle collisions and 11 medical assist. And we had, service calls, we had 3 smoke investigations, 2 service. We gave mutual aid to other areas, other agencies for 16 times. We have received mutual aid 5 times. We have under good intent, we have 1 lift to assist, we had 6 counsel en route, and we had, basically 4 false alarm, false calls. And, you know, it varies the call, we average 4 plus people a call, you know, sales will be 11. So we had a house fire down here, we had 11 members respond. Also this year, we've had both our trucks serviced by EVTs. Go back, had some minor repairs that had to be done. I sent 3 members to a Livingston Fire School on a grant. And also we spent 2 people to a leadership conference that was free of charge, in the hotel. And we just received a grant for upcoming training at the municipal school at College Station. And we started receiving some of the equipment on the last order we made. We still got gear out and the air packs are still due to come. But other than that, we're moving along.
Thank you. Thank you all, city heads, for your report. Appreciate it. Makes it sound like we got business to take care of every day, doesn't it? All right. My name's down there, but you just heard the report, so there you go. I'd just like to say thanks again for all the work. We have a lot of grants that are out. A lot of the stuff you see happening within the city are federal grants, money that we've been able to receive. Unfortunately, I guess that's the positive side of it, is we get all that money to do infrastructure within our city. The downside of that is it just takes forever to make it happen. It's the federal government we're dealing with. So, when you see things happening, be patient with us. We're working on it as fast as we can. We'll go ahead and move into our regular session. Anybody from the city council would like to make a support? Going into our regular session, item number 1 in section E is discussion and possible action on a request submitted by Omar and Kanisha Price for a waiver to allow them to keep fowl at 2624 Smith Street.
Mayor, I make a motion that we table this until we can further look at the ordinance. I know there is a lot of citizens in our city that have chickens and have had them for quite some time. And I think we need to review the ordinance and allow the chickens until we review it.
All right, we have a motion, a tabling and a second. Is there any discussion?
So the motion to table, vote on it immediately.
Okay. We have a motion to table. We'll go ahead and vote on it. Motion and a second. All in favor of the motion to table? Discussion of possible action on the request submitted by Omar and Kanisha Price for a waiver to allow them to keep fowl at 2624 Smith Street, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, no. Motion carried. All right, we'll move on to item number 2. Discussion and possible action on vacating the alleyway between Chester and Dayton Street, north of Houston Street, and authorizing the mayor to execute any and all documents pertaining to said vacation.
I'll make a motion, we discuss and make an action on vacating the alleyway between Chester and Dayton Street, north of Houston Street, and authorizing the mayor to execute any and all documents pertaining to said vacation.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
I would like to know have we been able to find the specifics of the alleyway?
John, would you like to speak to that?
I have not. I know Chief Stelly went to the appraisal district today. And I think our next step is gonna be at the courthouse. As far as the dimensions of the alleyway, no. The existence of the alleyway, yes. We have.
We know it's there, we just don't know.
Yes.
And I would like to say that I think that whoever is an ownership to each side of the alleyway should have the opportunity to purchase as well before.
If you move forward with agreeing to vacate the alleyway, then we would reach out as the city to each adjacent property owner, notifying them of, the availability of this property and move forward with whatever their intent is.
And those that did not choose to purchase the property would not be responsible for the upkeep of that property.
No more, should be no more than they already
Right.
are. Correct. It's an alleyway, you either accept the ownership of it or you don't.
Who accepts the ownership if you don't?
The city.
The city vacates it, the city no longer owns it, then who owns it?
The city
The
won't
person
vacate.
that is purchasing it from the city.
I see.
If someone purchases
Yeah.
it, then they will own that property, it'll be their
And I
responsibility.
wanted to try to answer the question of would they be responsible if they didn't purchase it as well.
I think the question, you have to go back and find out what it was at the inception.
Yeah.
And so, if you abandoned something and it was just a right of way, then it would revert back to what ownership was when it was taken in. Now, if that was from the beginning, then you have an issue of, everything eventually goes back to the state of Texas at some point, but it could be that it goes back to the city or a different owner. But I think the documents that, that John and Mike are talking about, that's going to determine probably where it goes.
Since it was an alleyway, we don't know if the water district has easements in there, AT&T may have easements, energy intake.
So it's possibly abandoning it doesn't really change much of the use.
We can't give away those.
Those things,
That's someone
correct.
else.
Right, it would just be abandoning whatever the city of West Orange
Right,
has,
right,
which we're not certainly sure for that.
not certain.
How can you vote on what you're not sure of?
That's the issue.
Yeah, we're just giving the mayor the ability to execute all documents today.
Do we have a motion? And did we get a second?
Do you understand what you're saying, what they're saying? We're giving him the authority to be able to,
Pull the documents that we need to make that decision.
and then it'll go forward from there.
Gives me the authority to take whatever action is the best for the owners, if we want to sell it or not.
Or if we can send it.
If we can, even if we can sell it. Instead of coming back to another council meeting and saying, okay, this is what we found, blah, 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 and then make a decision then. Okay, so we have a motion and a second for vacating the alleyway between Chester and Dayton Streets and authorizing the mayor to execute any and all documents pertaining to said vacation. All in, is there any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Motion carries. Item number 3, discussion and possible action on a request submitted by Gerald Bergeron for a variance to ordinance number 358 to allow development of an RV park on less than 2 acres of land on Holland Street. Do we have a motion?
I make a motion, we do not approve any action on a request submitted by Gerald Bergeron for variance to ordinance number 358 to allow development of an RV park on less than 2 acres of land on Holland Street.
A second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there discussion?
The reason being, they have 1.34 acres, which which is far less than the necessary required 2 acres. I've also talked to 3 business people and 2 residents that live right in that immediate area, and all of those folks are opposed to the RV park.
Mr. Bergeron?
Can I come up?
Yes.
So, both of these properties, it's 4425 Holland and the adjacent property next to it. Both of those properties were abandoned and taken over by the city for back taxes, or the county. And I purchased them on tax sale for back taxes, delinquent taxes. And this is not the first property I've done this with. I've done it with multiple properties. But this one, it used to have a building on it, a house. The house was dilapidated, it was abandoned, it was in bad shape, it had vagrant services. I went in and cleaned up all of that area, went in and cleaned up all of that property. I have additional pictures and documents here if y'all want to see those, but I recently saw an article on Penny Record, and very similar one from Orange EDC, about all the potential projects in the area. And I don't feel like we have enough temporary housing for all of those workers. I believe it's something in the neighborhood of $16 billion of potential projects coming to this area. We estimate 25 to 30,000 employees. If those employees don't have anywhere to stay, they're going to leave the area. They're going to go to other places to stay, and their money is going to go to different communities, different cities. I know I don't meet the ordinance of 2 acres. I have contacted the neighbor next to me, or actually Michael has contacted them to see if they'd be willing to sell. That property has a blue tarp on it with a hole in the roof. It's abandoned, it needs to be torn down as well. I feel like any business in this area would increase the value of that area. So, I haven't talked to any of the other businesses, but the one diagonal from me is a mobile home park. They have small cottages in the back. I feel like my RV park would be more beneficial to the community than that mobile home park. The other businesses, commercial businesses, I don't see any issue with having an RV park there with the privacy fence stuff to block them. It would be another business for that area to bring that community in. Pretty much all that I want y'all to consider is that area was abandoned. It was left for nothing, taken over and maintained by the city and overgrown. So anything that I do to it would be beneficial to this.
I agree with that.
Who would be responsible for the upkeep and to make sure,
I would. So, one of the concerns would be that, it would become like the mobile home park next to it, where, mobile homes were abandoned and grass wasn't cut. To me, with the amount of work coming to this area, especially just a block away, there's potential. I think Chevron Phillips has announced the potential ethane cracker and 2 polyethylene loops. This could be a premium spot for temporary housing. So I didn't envision this as a throw some rock on the ground and put in a sewer connection type of RV park. I pictured this as a premium spot for those workers due to the close nature to the facility, for the construction and ongoing through future, because I work for a chemical company right there on 1006, and we have a lot of workers that live in RVs throughout the year, not just during construction. So we have planners and schedulers and project work and all that. A lot of those workers stay on RV because they're in the area for 6 months or less. So if we don't have housing for those people, temporary housing for those people, then they're going to go to another community. And I think that an RV park is going to be more beneficial to a lot of those people than an apartment building. Because I was considering weighing my options. An apartment building would be another option, but I feel like RV parks have more benefits to apartment buildings. For one, the amount of capital required to start it. But 2, a lot of benefits to the people staying in the RVs. It's their RV. They can do what they want to their property. And they can hook up their RV and move on to the next job if they have a job coming. The other thing I was going to say is that, sorry, I forgot, but the apartment buildings is another option, and I was looking at that as well, but it's a lot more capital investment to build it.
you checked into the property next to it, and the property next to it would give you the 2 acres?
Yes, it would. It's approximately another acre, and like you said, I'm at 1.3, so it would be above. Michael has been helping me out with that. I just want to say, he's been more than helpful on a lot of things. I worked in a lot of different communities, and he's one of the most helpful people that I've met that's worked for the city, that building and code enforcement and stuff. So I appreciate everything he's doing. I believe that the owner said he would need to talk to his siblings and discuss it as whether or not they can do stuff. But it's in pretty bad shape. It needs to be torn down.
But the house that was on the property you're talking about now, building the RV park, it had a house on it that was in real bad shape too. Thank you for thinking that up. We have a motion to deny. Guess we need to go ahead and go through with that motion.
There's no more discussion, it can be voted on,
I'd like to,
Would you consider an apartment complex?
Yes, and I have. The only thing is right now it's
I
just.
know it's a lot
It's,
more.
yeah, it's just me and my dad right now. We're kind of working on it together. We don't have the funds together to build an apartment building. There's a lot more requirements and restrictions around multifamily and apartment buildings and stuff. I don't know all of those. I have to learn those. It's not a problem, but we have researched it and looked at it, but you wouldn't get the return on your investment that you would get on an RV park. Plus, the other benefit that I see with an RV park is in 5 or 10 years, if the construction work comes to a halt and the RV park is not doing real well, I could close it down and start another business like an apartment or a restaurant or something else very easily. Whereas if you have an apartment building there and you spend a large amount of capital on an apartment building, you're not able to keep the tenants, then you just lost a substantial investment. So to me, it's a lot less risk and a lot less capital requirement. That's why whenever I weighed the decision to request the RV park.
Michael, did this Mr. Garcia, did he seem open to selling the property?
Well, he said that he would have to speak to his siblings at this point. Otherwise, his intention had been to demolish the house this time.
so could we amend the motion to say, well, I guess we can deny and then make another motion to disable it until.
That was Jay's motion, so either it could be voted on if he doesn't want it to rescind, then it would be voted on. Or we could change it.
It's your motion. Okay, leave it as it is.
I believe it is, and not granted.
His is still on the floor, so
We had to vote and everything.
that is that.
All right, we have a motion and a second before us to deny the request for the RV park on Holland Street. Call for vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. No. So we have that one redone.
Now you're back to square one.
Yeah. And need another motion.
Make a motion that we table this until further notice.
We have a motion, we have a second. We have a motion to table this until, further developments.
Sure.
Okay? So we have a motion to table in a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed?
Not voting. Abstaining.
Three for it, motion passes. All right. Thank you, Mr. Bergeron. Move on to item number 4, discussion possible action on acceptance of recommendation from Whiteley Oliver to award the City Hall generator contract HMGPDR 446-0012-TX base bid and alternate number 1 bid to Gulf Coast Electric in the total amount of $143,800.
Well, good afternoon, council. For those of y'all that don't know me, I'm a professional engineer and president of Whiteley Oliver Engineering. And we've had the pleasure of doing the engineering work on this grant project for the city. This is a hazard mitigation grant project that the city was awarded for a new city hall generator here at this site. And we had 3 responsive bidders for this project. We had Gulf Coast Electric, A&A Electric, and W Industries. Gulf Coast Electric was the low bidder for this project. They had a base bid amount of $138,000 with an alternate bid amount of $5,800 for a total bid amount of $143,800.00. We'd like to point out if our record of service right, I believe the budget was $206,110 for this new generator, including the fencing, foundation, basically all the components. So with the low bid, we were under that amount significantly. So very, very good job on the bids that we had in. So I'd be more than happy to answer any questions about this project as we move forward.
Do we have a motion?
I make a motion that we approve Gulf Coast Electric bid, the alternate, the base bid, as well as the alternate number 1 bid of $143,000.
Is there a second? We have a motion and a second to accept the recommendation of Whiteley Oliver to award the City Hall generator base bid and alternate number 1 bid to Gulf Coast Electric in the total amount of $143,800. Is there any more discussion? Don't go ahead, Frank. Any more discussion? I'll call for a vote. Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item number 5, discussion and possible action on awarding a contract for the installation of an LED sign in the amount of $38,200 to Sign Doctors, Inc. We have a motion.
I make a motion that we award the contract for installation of an LED sign in the amount of $38,200 to Sign Doctor Inc.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to award a contract for the installation of the LED sign in the amount of $38,200 to Sign Doctor Inc. Is there any discussion?
This LED sign will be out front, correct, replacing West River?
Yes. It will replace the existing sign.
And this is a grant-funded project.
Yes.
Yes, it is. It is grant. Is there any other discussion? We have a motion. Any discussion? All right, I'll call for a vote on this motion for the installation of the LED sign. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, no. Motion carries. Item number 6, discussion and possible action on awarding a contract to Revise for the redesign, maintenance, technical support, and hosting of the city's website. Revise is the company that will be doing the redesign, maintenance, and technical support. Do we have a motion?
I make a motion, we award the contract to Revise for the redesign, maintenance, technical support, and hosting of the city's website, which is also a grant-funded project.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to award the contract to Revise for redesign, maintenance, technical support, and hosting of the city's website. Is there any discussion?
On the bid request, probably ask for 5-year maintenance. So is this
What is your bid?
The bid is in the packet is provided.
You can just amend the motion. Amend the motion.
If the bids have been out included for 5 years in the bid, it wasn't an option.
Say that again, Mike?
So the bids that went out, that came back, the bid doc sheet actually included the 5 years on all of them.
If it was part of the proposal, it would be fine.
So we have a motion and a second. How much was the contract?
The total for 5 years is $72,000.
That includes all the other stuff.
That is to redesign the site, maintenance, technical support, and hosting.
Is there any other discussion? Any questions? All right, hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of awarding a contract to revise for redesign, maintenance, technical support, and hosting of the city's website, say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Motion carries. Item number 7, discussion and possible action on awarding a contract to Trailer and Associates, Inc. for grant administration and/or planning services for the Tropical Storm Imelda grant from the Texas General Land Office.
I make a motion that we award Trainer and Associates, Inc. for the grant administration. For the CS Imelda, CDBG DR 4466 grant for the general.
We have a motion, do we have a second? So, Brent's got a second? Okay. So we have a motion and a second for awarding contract to Trailer and Associates for the grant administration and or planning service for the grant from the Texas General Land Office. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Motion carries. Item number 8, discussion possible action on awarding a contract to Whiteley Oliver LLC to provide engineering services for the Tropical Storm Imelda CDBG DR 4466 grant from the Texas General Land Office. Is there a motion? Flipping corners down there or what?
Make a motion to discuss some possible action on awarding a contract to Whitney Oliver LLC to provide engineering services for the TS Imelda CDBG-DR-4466 grant from the Texas General Land Office.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Just so y'all know, this is all grant money that we're trying to get from the Texas General Land Office to do work here in the city. So, is there any other discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor on awarding a contract to Whiteley Oliver LLC to provide engineering services for the Tropical Storm Imelda CDBG DR 4466 grant from the Texas General Land Office, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, no. Motion carries. All right, item number 9. Discussion and possible action on approval of a resolution authorizing the submittal of one or more DR 4485 HMGP applications to the Texas Division of Emergency Management, authorizing the mayor and public works director to act as the city's authorized representatives in all matters pertaining to the application and committing matching funds. HMGP is Hazard Mitigation Grant Program. Okay.
I make a motion for the discussion and possible action on approval of resolution authorizing the submittal of one or more DR 4485 HMGP applications to the Texas Division of Emergency Management, authorizing the mayor and public works director to act as the city's authorized representative in all matters pertaining to the application and committing matching funds.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second for discussion and possible action on approval of the resolution authorizing the submittal of one or more DR 4485 HNG applications for Texas Division of Emergency Management, authorizing the mayor and public works director to act as the city's authorized representatives in all matters pertaining to the application and committing matching funds. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Motion carries. Item number 10, discussion and possible action on a rate increase request from Piney Woods Sanitation. Piney Woods.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. Mike Wilson with Piney Woods Sanitation. Here we are requesting the city through our contract of an increase of 5.6%, which is roughly 80 cents per home, effective October 1st. The reason for this, obviously, is the price of fuel has gone up about $2.50 a gallon over the year's time. Over the last 6 years that we've had your contract, we've tried to be very frugal in asking for increases. This is the first time we've asked 2 years in a row, but unfortunately, with fuel going up almost 100% on the diesel, it takes 50 gallons per truck. It takes 3 trucks per week to pick up the trash, and ultimately, this price increase will not even get us whole based on the number of residents versus what we're asking, but we're trying to be frugal on the matter. We understand it is important to keep our costs low. With that said, we also are not in relations with the city to keep junk piles down and a horrible opportunity to get rid of bulk trash at residential houses. We are not asking to increase the bulk container rental.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, sir.
I make a motion where we approve the increase request from Piney Woods Sanitation.
We have a motion, we have a second. Ready. We have a motion and a second on a rate increase request from Piney Woods Sanitation. How much?
You said 5.6.
Thank you.
Go ahead and I'm sorry, I think I meant 6%.
Yeah, your letter was for 6%.
6%, I apologize. I misquoted. It was 6%. But it's still 80 cents.
Yeah.
80 cents.
80 cents.
So we have a motion? And a second. Well, we have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion?
We might want to mention the percentage of increase on there, just to clarify.
Right, 6%. We have a motion. Who made the motion?
I did.
All right, can you restate it? Did you restate her motion?
Just amend it.
It's amended to make 6% increase.
Whoever seconded it, was the amendment, so.
All right, we have the amendment of the motion and the second. Is there any more discussion? Any more comments? Don't keep it straight, man. All right. So we have a motion and a second. Hearing no more discussion, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of the rate increase request from Piney Woods Sanitation of 6%, say aye. Aye. All opposed? No. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item number 11, discussion and possible action on renewing employees' health, vision, and dental insurance through TML Health Benefits Pool for the 2022-23 fiscal year.
I make a motion that we renew the employee health, vision, and dental insurance through TML Health Benefits Pool for 2022 to 23 fiscal year.
We have a motion for a second. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? As in all other things, I believe this will be a cost as well, an increase in cost. Is that right, Mike? You have any direct?
7%.
7%, which is really not bad.
And that was just health.
For health insurance, vision and dental stay the same. They started out at 12.
Any more discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for vote on the renewing employees' health, vision, and dental insurance through TML Health Benefits Pool for the 2022-23 fiscal year. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Motion carried. All right, we'll move on to announcements. City offices closed in observance of Independence Day, Monday, July the 4th, 2022. A public hearing on certain substandard and hazardous properties will be held Tuesday, July the 5th, 2022 at 5 p.m. And our next council meeting will be Monday, July the 18th, 2022 at 5 p.m.
Mayor, where's the second item gonna be held at? This second item, on is it held here in this building too?
Yes, yes, sir. It'll be here, right here.
Okay.
Council chamber.
Thank you.
Council chamber / community center. All right. Meeting adjourned.